Gotta know the lobes. We have the frontal lobe, piece of cake. I probably shouldn't use food references. So we have the frontal lobe that's here. These are the parietal lobes here, temporal lobes on the side, and of course, occipital lobes posteriorly located. This entire thing right here is the cerebellum, and then this is the brainstem, okay? So the lobes of the brain. This that I have my probe in is the longitudinal fissure that actually separates the two cerebral hemispheres. Now I'm about to moon you guys. Ready to be mooned? What does it look like?
Oh, butt cheeks.
It looks, there you go. So you've been mooned. You've been mooned. See, they look like butt cheeks. You've been mooned. Now, be honest. Doesn't look like a butt? Okay. So these four things here, 2 superior caniculi and 2 inferior caniculi, the 4 of these together make up the corpora quadrumana. So 1, 2, 3, 4, quad. Corpora quadrumana. On your list, you see corpora quadrumana is bolded, and then you see superior caniculi, and it says right next to it, 2 parts of the corpora quadrumana. I did this on purpose because people are like, I didn't know we need to know that. Yes, you need to know it's on the list. All right. Now, this is an olfactory bulb. Olfactory bulb. I'm going to move to this one. These are the optic nerves. There's 2 of them. The optic nerves cross each other at the optic chiasma, because chi is like an X, right? If they were here, which they're not, but if they were here, they would cross each other. Does that make sense? Like this. And so optic nerves cross each other at the optic chiasma. The mammillary body is what I'm outlining with my probe now. So that's mammillary body. This is the infundibulum. Infundibulum is where I'm putting my probe in right now. So this is like a hollow stalk. So that's the infundibulum. And then this part right here that I'm rubbing again with my entire probe, that is the cerebral peduncle. I actually could hold up the cerebrum by the cerebral peduncle. So in lecture, I said that the cerebral peduncle was like your lollipop stick and the cerebrum was the sucker itself, okay? So all of this is cerebral peduncle and the cerebrum is attached to it, okay? Now, once I leave the cerebral peduncle, which again is where my mammillary body is and my infundibulum, then I move to the pons. So see this bulge that's here? That's the pons. And then if you look very closely, you'll see a ridge here and a ridge here. These 2 ridges are actually the pyramids of the medulla. So this is the medulla that my fingers are on. This right here is one of the pyramids. This right here is the other pyramids. So pyramids of the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata continues on to the brainstem, spinal cord, okay? Both acceptable. So let's see. Frontal lobe, parietal lobes, temporal lobes, occipital lobes, cerebellum, longitudinal fissure, superior caniculi, inferior caniculi, all 4 of them together, corpora quadrumana. Optic nerves here and here, optic chiasma where they cross, olfactory bulbs here, mammillary body here, I'm outlining it here, infundibulum here, pons, pyramids, medulla, brainstem, cerebral peduncle, okay? Now, once you cut this lovely brain in half, I'm about to outline the entire corpus callosum. I'm outlining the corpus callosum, which holds the 2 cerebral hemispheres together. There was a membrane that was here, and I'll show you on some of yours that's intact. That membrane is septum, because septum means separate, septum pellucidum. But now my probe is inside of the lateral ventricle, because a ventricle is a hollow place where cerebral spinal fluid flows. This is lateral ventricle. Here, my probe is actually in the 3rd ventricle. Here is the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct follows in to the 4th ventricle. So lateral ventricle here, third ventricle here, cerebral aqueduct here, fourth ventricle here, okay? This is my cerebellum. The white matter of the cerebellum is the arbor vitae. So remember, cerebellum, the cortex is gray. So this is the gray matter on the outside, but the internal part is white matter, and it's called arbor vitae, which stands for tree of life. This right here is the pineal gland. It's cut in half, so the other half's on the other side of the brain. So this is the pineal gland. This beautiful round thing right here, that is the thalamus, and below the thalamus is the hypothalamus. So thalamus is here, hypothalamus is here, third ventricle, lateral ventricle, fourth ventricle, cerebral aqueduct, pineal gland, arbor vitae, corpus callosum, and then the membrane that's here is actually septum pellucidum, which I hope I can show you on one of yours when I get to it, as total. I know, not so bad.